Hi, my name is Fish, so it's easy to remember. It translates to all the languages. Whenever we meet, maybe in Rotterdam or wherever, you can call me in your native language, like the fish, and then I will know where are you from. So, but anyways, I'm a drummer and jazz music enthusiast, and it started out with being a musician, playing in different places, organizing some concerts in some venues for a year, for example. And when it vanishes, nothing actually sticks. So it kind of bothered me, and I was thinking we should establish something that stays. So I invited a few friends just to organize a jazz club, and they said no. So I couldn't do it alone, obviously, and I thought that maybe it should involve a bigger community, like a jazz club from musicians, run by musicians, and for the musicians, and that actually worked. We invited all the musicians of Tallinn, maybe also from the whole Estonia, to actually build a room. We found a cellar that didn't cost too much, and we did it. Like the most, I don't know, established jazz musicians, they risked their lives with all the wires, and they painted, and they literally built the stage where they will be standing afterwards. And it made a change. Tallinn, as you know, is a village. There is only like 500,000 people there. For example, in Brooklyn, there is like 3 or 4 times more people than in the whole of Tallinn. So Tallinn is small. So we had to do something to have the opportunity to become better musicians. There is only that little square meter per musician capita in Tallinn, so we needed to expand that. And the funny thing was, we started in 2014. 2015 we got an award of being like the jazz developer of the year. The next year we got the award of being the best venue, but the budget was invisible. It was only what we could do. We lived one day at a time, and it developed to be, there was nothing fancy about it, but we developed to be one of the places where everybody wanted to play. And the idea was, it was not too ambitious. We wanted to be the best jazz club in the world. And it's really easy to do. You just have to take care of the musician. And do it like with no exceptions. The local artists are as important as the foreign ones. And if you make the musicians feel good, for example, if anybody comes to Philly Joe's and they ask like, hey, what is, like, how long have to be the sets? And like, is it like 2 sets or 3 sets? And we are like, you're the boss. It's your club for today. You can play only 1 song. It can be 1 minute, and that's it. Like, that's your concept. You can like take it where you want it. So that was something really fresh. And then we bought a better piano than all the like national venues have, just because we want to appreciate the musicians. And as you can see, many of you know, but some of you don't know, and it's really okay. The guitar player is called Peter Bernstein. And during 2014, I wanted to publish my own record, and I was asking him through the manager, could he also play in Tallinn? And we could have a show together, like they are playing and we are playing. And he said, yeah, why not? It's like 8,000 euros plus all the expenses, and it's all good. So 5 years later, after 1,000 plus concerts in Tallinn, he wrote to me and said, "Hey, we have heard many nice things about the club, including, you know, all the best instruments in the world. So what do you think? Could we maybe come and play? And we are okay with the money that comes from the door." And it was on 22nd of August this year. So that is what you can establish in a village when you actually have the whole musician community working for you. But anyways, in 2017, I got the idea of taking the Philly Joe's concept, which represents, it's the name, we honor a drummer called Philly Joe Jones who changed the whole jazz scene. By the way, every syllable that I'm using takes us closer to the lunch, so it's really close now. But anyways, Philly Joe Jones was the game changer drummer. So whenever I'm telling anybody the name of the club, they are like, yeah, Billy Joel's or whatever. But no jazz musician ever forgets a bar that is dedicated to a drug addict drummer who was like incredible, who made miles fly, miles high. So nevertheless, we thought that we are taking that New York concept back to New York. And it's an Estonian jazz club, but it's actually an European jazz club. It's incredibly hard to get a gig in New York. Can you imagine the price for taking a car to Manhattan? It's more, like it's plus parking, it can be like $110, but maximum that you will get being the best in the world is $50 per night, and you will play maybe 4 sets, and that's it. You're not making any money, but being from Europe, you will almost never get a gig in New York. So we thought that we will fight for Europe, and we will have a jazz club, like a pop-up jazz club, but for a year in New York City. And I prepped it for a year. I went back and forth. But can you imagine, the funny thing is, all the same ideas worked in New York that work in Estonia. When you go to like a master musician who is like being in the finals of the Monk contest, which is like the biggest thing for a jazz musician, if you tell them, hey, we would like to establish something, could you maybe help us paint the walls and, you know, put up the signs? They are saying, hell yeah. Like with only the prospect of having a place where you can play when you have an idea. When we have somebody approaching us to Philly Joe's, if they ask like, could we play in Philly Joe's, we say kindly, we don't understand the question. It's not whether you can or not, it's like when. The idea is you always can. Whenever we have one concert, okay, you can, but you have to start at 11, which is okay, for example. And there is almost no no's in Philly Joe's. Jesus, I didn't prep that. But anyways, I tried to do it in New York. We did the pop-up in different places. I spent about 50,000 euros of my own money, but it actually was clear to me that it is really dangerous to do it in New York in many ways. We can talk about it afterwards. But the fact is that we established many small bridges between Estonia and New York. New York is actually suffocating. In 50 years, like back 50 years, they had about 600 jazz clubs. Now there is, the numbers are declining. It was like 18 clubs when I left. It's 15 clubs now, and it's going down. But now, actually, I don't know what will happen with the jazz music, but the capital of jazz music is maybe not New York anymore. It can be London, it can be Berlin, it can be Tallinn, it can be Narva. But the model works everywhere. The musicians need a place to play, need a place where they feel that they can make the artistic choices also. We never let people actually dominate how and what the band can do. And that is a certain freedom that non-musicians actually maybe don't see as such a big factor, but it makes all the difference in the world. And coming from New York, seeing that it was really super harsh, talking to a lawyer with $2,000 per hour fee, I used the first meeting that was for free. I used it all. I had like 2.5 hours conversation with everything. So I used the East Europe mentality there. But anyways, I got a lot of information. Probably I'm modest, but not too modest. I'm probably the best guy to do a jazz club in New York now. But anyways, I would like to insert that knowledge and that passion to a city that I love. And there are so many different reasons, but the last kick was that Narva didn't get the cultural capital 2024. So this was the moment where I decided that this will happen. I will go through walls, but I don't have to. Narva has been so welcoming that it's really kind of super fuzzy already. I must say, Vabalava Narva with the whole personnel was so kind that I can say now here for you that there will be a Philly Joe's Narva happening. Yes, yes, and it's really nice that also private sector has been really kind. We have really good perspective to do it. We are having like 160 concerts per year, and when I talk to different artists for the whole week, I didn't find anybody from Philly Joe's Tallinn program who didn't want to come to Narva. It's really, I must say, exotic also, but really inviting and really warm, and I think that this is the step we should have taken already years ago, but I thank really Angelica and Vabalava Narva that we can do it. And there's just one last thing. We are not sure how many people will show up. And the people from Estonian Public Broadcasting don't know it yet. But the idea is to build a lighthouse of jazz to Narva. When you want to play in Tallinn, you play in Tallinn, it's all good. But when you come to Narva, this house contains the possibilities to have a concert for maybe 8 people, but to broadcast it live in the whole country. This house has it all. So this is the candy we are using also for the musicians and for people who maybe have never been to Narva. So we will do our small little thing, but I think that all those small things combined change the game as a whole. Thank you, guys.